Welcome to Finals Football, which means a new direction for a little bit that this channel is going to take. Welcome to the very first preview of the 2024 AFL Final Series that I will be doing on this channel. Over the course of the next week, before the official matchups, I will be previewing all 4 games, running down their overall matchups, defense, midfield, forward, potential advantages, potential disadvantages, and intrinsic factors that could determine this game. Now that the finals are here, the main channel is going to heat up as well. So, without further ado, let's waste no time and get into the first matchup on Thursday night. Port Adelaide versus Geelong at the Adelaide Oval. This is the third time in around about 5 or 6 years that this matchup will be being played in a 5-4. Both played at the Adelaide Oval in 2020 and 2021, which the Power won to go to a preliminary final. So history is good for Port Adelaide, and they've played Geelong well at this ground as of late. Now, beginning this game for the Geelong Cats, the esteemed boss character of the AFL, as a lot of people have been calling them over the week. In their midfield, it's not the most lethal bunch, but it will contain in the ruck, in the ruck, there will be a dilemma at selection that they will need to consider. Reece Stanley has been the ruck in the last few weeks for the Geelong Cats, but with Sam De Koning ready to come back in, and the spark he could bring come finals time, there becomes a genuine selection and headache for Chris Scott in that department. In the midfield, you have a few pure-studded guns ready to go in Tanner Bruin, Jack Bowes, Brendan Parfitt, and Max Holmes, who all will be ready to play for this game. Geelong's done well to build a young midfield and one that will be ready to take into consumption for this game. But the true ire of their power will come in the forward line, with a game changer in Jeremy Cameron. Another selection dilemma will come through, with Shannon Neal, a strong young forward, playing really well, but there will always be the question of, do you bring in the retiring Tom Hawkins to play a strong role there? And in the defensive profile, Zach Gumphrey and Kay Colin Jasny will fill the ranks, with Tom Stewart completing intercepting abilities down back. For the Port Adelaide Football Club, in their home game, after selecting for a few rucks at the beginning of the year, it will be Jordan Sweet, a former Bulldog, who will take the ruck firmly against one of Reece Stanley or Sam De Koning on Thursday night. In the midfield, it's a 3-headed snake, one of the best in the competition. Rosie, Butters, Paul and Francis will all be getting the football and will be taking commanding roles to try and serve goal opportunities. In the forward line, Asava Radagalia, a former Cat, has made a strong name in it throughout this season, but there will be a question of whether he goes down back, with Todd Marshall being ready to go. An elite player in 2022, we haven't seen the best of Marshall in 2024. The question will be, can he get to that ability? And then there's Charlie Dixon, who will also be firmly planted in the Port Adelaide forward line. In defence, it suffers of the loss of Dan Houston, but Brendan Zerk-Thatcher will be playing in commandeering roles along with Jed McEntee. And Darcy Byrne-Jones, who is likely to come back as well. Now, on to matchup v matchup. There is one zone of the ground that I firmly think is placed in one team's favour. The midfield will be dominated by Port Adelaide. I think Jordan Sweet, regardless, I think Chris Scott needs to bring in Sam De Koning if there's any chance of striking in the midfield. If Reece Stanley goes up against a relatively informed Jordan Sweet, he will be crushed by him in said procedures. And I think the Port Adelaide midfield will just eat up on a very young and inexperienced Geelong midfield. One that is still reeling through the loss of guys like Joel Selwood to retirement. But I don't see any Port Adelaide defender on this team who can guard Jeremy Cameron. He kicked 9 against the West Coast Eagles, and I think he's in for a very similar bag against the Port Adelaide Football Club. He is lurking and he is ready to go, and I don't think one of Darcy Byrne-Jones or Brendan Zerk-Thatcher is going to be able to stop him. Which leads the key zone of the game, and where I think the game will be won, in the ability for Geelong's defence to stop the Port Adelaide forward line. Charlie Dixon will need to stand up to his full height for a Port Adelaide victory, I reckon. And he will need to stop guys like Tom Stewart, Jake Kolajasny and Zach Guthrie playing extremely well. But another threat for Geelong to have to seriously consider throughout the game is the power small forwards. The way they have been playing recently, Port Adelaide play a structure where they bomb it long, but then the ball crumbs in if Asava or Dixon doesn't mark it for one of Willie Rioli or Jason Horne-Francis to mark. To scoop up and score, a lot like what you saw Collingwood do last year in their premiership year. Jake Kolajasny had a very strong game guarding Bobby Hill on the round 18 game that Geelong played Collingwood in, and there is a chance that he could do the same on Willie Rioli and really prove to be a point. I truly think the Cats defenders on the Port Adelaide forward line will decide this game, because two zones are clearly in one team's favour. This decides the game. I'm fully convinced by it. If Willie Rioli and Jason Horne-Francis can find a way to go off, which I think they're a chance of doing, Port Adelaide will win. If the Cats defenders can find a way to nullify their influence and make them panic, Geelong will win. As for teams I overall think will be coming in, I think there will be a change. I can see Asava Radaglia heading into the back line to play, whilst Todd Marshall will return to create a two-tall lineup with Charlie Dixon and Todd Marshall. It's not the right play, but it's what I think Ken Hinkley will do. Whereas for Geelong, as much as everyone wants to see Tom Hawkins one final time, I think we will stick with Shannon Neale and Jeremy Cameron, and it will be Cameron's turn to guide the forward line. And I also think Sam De Koning will be thrown into the ruck to play over Reece Stanley. As for overall predictions of this game, as much as I really want to go Port Adelaide, I've told all the time, I know what they're capable of. I know what they can achieve at full flight. And if they can achieve it, they will smoke Geelong in this game. But looking at the matchups, looking at how this game has been spread, there's something in my mind telling me that the Cats can win this. And I just don't want to doubt Geelong. So because of that, I am tipping the Cats by 11 to win. The winner of this game will go to a home preliminary final, whilst the loser will be left to fend off a shark that comes out of the first elimination final in the semis. For Port Adelaide, it's a big game to start their finals campaign off hot in one where I think they've got the most pressure out of any team to perform. No excuses this time. It's time to make a grand final. Whereas Geelong, I think, faces a very, very interesting task. It's win and maybe go to a grand final, or lose and potentially go out in straight sets. Overall, the excitement of this game is absolutely palpable, and the impact it could have on the standings is massive as well. I think, well and truly, Port can get this crowd involved, can get them fired up early, can use the home crowd advantage to their side. They can continue this strong record and win over to a prelim. But if Geelong can make Port Adelaide, who have had a bad history in finals before, start panicking, start making mistakes they shouldn't, they can win this game. It's an even matchup, and based on matchups from what I've looked at, I'm just leaning towards the Cats, but it is going to be one hell of a game with massive ramifications for the loser, having to fight a shark on the other side. I hope you enjoyed this preview, and let me know in the comment section below who you think will win this final.